Today we are going to hear from our speakers about applications of AI for small to medium enterprises. Before we kick off, I just want to go through a few housekeeping items. Firstly, this session is being recorded. And so the overview will go through for around 45 minutes and Q&A will follow the overview. So we would welcome you to use the Q&A window during the session, and we will address those questions at the end, okay? So I'm gonna just introduce here who is going to be part of the session today. My name is Ana Dutra. I will be moderating today's session. I sit in Enterprise and Operational Excellence and Digital Innovation team. So our team's remit is to support client companies to increase their productivity by embracing lean principles and adopting digital solutions and technologies. I'm delighted to welcome our speakers today. Firstly, Peter Rose, co-founder and CTO of TEKenable. In 2002, Peter co-founded TEKenable with Nick Connors, aiming to provide high-quality software solutions to financial services, healthcare, agri-food, and the public sector. TEKenable are experts in rapid digital transformation, low-code platforms, data, and AI. Over the years, TEKenable has achieved significant milestones, including being listed in the Deloitte Fast 50, winning the Deloitte Impact Award for Technology, and being named Technology Company of the Year by the Business All-Stars Association in 2019. Peter also serves as CTO and Associate CTO to several startups and established services companies in Ireland and EMEA. Peter's expertise lies in delivering secure, reliable solutions to enterprise businesses, making him a trusted advisor to many either CEOs and CIOs. And we are also joined by Mohammed Khan, who is the CTO of a Microsoft Services division at TEKenable. Mohammed is an accomplished technology leader with over 20 years of experience at TEKenable. As the newly appointed CTO of the Microsoft Services division, he plays a pivotal role in ensuring technical excellence across the Microsoft division. We are delighted to have the expertise of Peter and Mohammed on this session today. So without further ado, I'm going to hand over firstly to Peter and then Mohammed to kick the overview off. Thank you.
Keep your mute. Can't hear you.
Sorry, Peter. We can't
Sorry,
hear you.
I pressed the button on my headset. After that glowing introduction as a technical expert, I can't work the headset. Fantastic. So thanks very much for the introduction, and I appreciate it. We're going to bring you through a little bit around what you need to know about generative AI. We're going to then share some actual hands-on demonstrations. It's not all slide decks and chat. It will be hands-on demonstrations of technologies that you could use or potentially use in your business. We'll go through some other potential applications of AI afterwards, which we won't demo, take too long, but for the slot we have, we'll give you some idea of other things we can do for you. And then obviously we'll open it up to discussion and questions if anybody has anything that they want to follow through with. So next slide, please, Mike. Just a little infographic about ourselves. I'm not going to belabor this. It's not why you're here to find out about us. You want to hear about AI. But as Anna said, founded in 2002, headquartered in Dublin, data and AI expertise. There's something north of 220 staff. Yeah, you can see the rest for yourself. You don't need me to go through it. So into what you need to know about generative AI piece. So you've probably all heard about generative AI, the whole, ChatGPT and so on and so forth. I suppose that there are some key areas in which generative AI really excels, and one of those is report writing, presentation creation, document summarization, marketing content generation, and customer support services. This is some of the stuff that we're going to be showing, or Mohammed in particular will be showing you today. I suppose I do want to mention, though, that well, we're going to be demonstrating the Microsoft solution set because we're Microsoft certified data and AI experts, and that's the platform we know best. There are a lot of other platforms out there that provide services in the AI space, and there's Google on the Gemini platform, for example. There's Anthropic's platform, Claude. There is, a multiplicity of startups in the space as well, from Perplexity, which is a fantastic search engine. If you haven't actually come across it, then it's worth one looking at. For sure, it's perplexity.ai. There's Fireflies, which will go into your Teams and Zooms and Google Meet calls and take notes for you and summarize it and record actions and so on and so forth. There is a huge startup ecosystem as well as just the major large players. So in terms of what you can expect from generative AI, you can expect, if you apply it, and it's like everything else, you need to learn to use it. You can't just have it land on your desk and expect to know what to do from day one. But once you get used to using it, you can expect increased productivity from task automation and supporting, allowing you to focus on more creative type activities and a bit less of the drudge work in your day-to-day business. It's very good actually at supporting in decision making. You can use the likes of even simple tools like ChatGPT. You can have an argument with ChatGPT. You can use role playing. You can ask either ChatGPT to critique something for you. You could perhaps provide it with a proposed text or a proposed webinar script or whatever it may be, and ask ChatGPT to assume the role of a critical observer. You can even tell it, for example, that you want the observer to have a particular type of personality from the Insights personality wheel, so fiery red, for example, type individual. And ChatGPT and pretty much any of the other ones I've described, like Gemini, for example, and Microsoft Copilot, will have an argument with you over and say, well, that's not, you've missed something here, or you've not explained this well enough, or, I don't believe this particular thing. And you can use it for idea generation. You can use it to help with decision making by sort of bouncing ideas off it and getting it to generate things for you as well. It's actually quite scary if you get it to do it really well. New business opportunities, same sort of idea. You can put ideas to it, get it to critique them, ask it for information, supporting facts, contradictory facts, and so on and so forth to help you with new product or new business opportunities. But it is a new technology, and it feels like at this stage it's been around forever because it's so ubiquitous. It's all over the place and everybody's talking about it and using it. Most of my time and pretty much all of Mohammed's time is spent actually looking at generative AI and the applications and the new developments of it. But we're still constantly amazed by new things that are coming out. We moved from DALL-E 2, which was probably about 7 or 8 months ago that would have come out, something that ilk, maybe a little longer, maybe 12 months ago, a basic image generation, and sort of, wow, oh my God, there's a skateboarding teddy bear in New York and it's generated the image for you immediately and it's photorealistic and it's fantastic. But it was rubbish at people and faces. And then DALL-E 3 came out and it started to get much, much better at human faces. And that was only about, I'd say 5 to 6 months ago. And now where we're at is we've got Sora from the OpenAI Foundation, and Sora is generating real time, real videos, movie quality, Hollywood quality videos that understand physics and understand scenes. And you've probably seen them on YouTube, etc., of mammoths walking through the snow, and as the mammoth foot moves, its skin ripples, the fur moves with the wind, and the snow is tossed into the air and falls. And all this in the space of less than a year. We've gone from basic photographic generation to Hollywood quality movie generations. This thing is moving at a heck of a pace, and that itself creates its own challenges. And then, of course, we'll move on to the next slide if you don't mind. Just thank you very much. So I've gone through some of these already. The OpenAI Foundations are providing the GPT AI models that underpins an awful lot. DALL-E in terms of photo generation, ChatGPT you're probably familiar with, Sora the video generation that you can't use at the moment in preview, but you can see lots of videos of what it does on YouTube. Claude, Gemini I've mentioned, and then some of the other startups. So Runway ML, for example, that takes a text description and generates video, or generates, you can upload an image and it will animate the image for you. It'll guess what somebody would look like if they had their mouth open, for example, or if they're turning their head to the left, etc. Perplexity, take note of that one. I use that all the time. I don't use Google anymore. I use Perplexity to actually figure out how to do searches. And rather than produce a list of search results, it gives you the answer. But it's calling on the services of GPT, Claude, Mistral, which is another AI model, and Perplexity's own internal AI models to answer the question and present the results to you in both text and image form and everything. It's very, very powerful. Canva for designing media posts, document templates, posters, etc. And I mentioned Firefly as the ability to attend a meeting in your place effectively. You're all in SMEs. You're all mad busy like myself and Mohammed and everybody else at the moment. And the ability to send something like an AI into a meeting on your behalf. It won't talk on your behalf, but it'll listen, it'll take actions, and it'll summarize it. And you can interrogate it with questions afterwards. It's really very powerful. And then, of course, there's the Microsoft technologies based on Azure OpenAI. That is the Microsoft offerings, but also there are partner innovated solutions. I'm going to show you at least one of those today in terms of the partner solutions. Thank you very much. So, introducing the first of the demos, there is another slide that I think describes it afterwards. Yeah, thank you very much. So Mohammed's going to show you two things. He's going to show you Microsoft 365 Copilot. So Microsoft is adding Copilots to absolutely everything, as far as I can see. And what is a Copilot? Copilot is effectively an assistant. It sits there in the background. You can summon it to the foreground if you want it to do something specific. But it will sit there in the background making intelligent suggestions, informed suggestions based upon your data, the context in which you're using it, the application in which you're using it. Think of it like a personal assistant is the way to go, but it's a heck of a lot more powerful than the old paperclip that used to be in Microsoft Word, for example. And there's a version for Microsoft Office, which is the Microsoft 365 Copilot. And there's a version for Dynamics 365, which I think Mohammed is also going to show you, which is the Dynamics Copilot. The 365 one, particularly good at high interaction areas like customer support, for example, where you're processing requests, you need to process them quickly and efficiently. And both of them will effectively improve your internal efficiencies and save you money as a business. I think it's over to you, Mo. You can impress us.
Pete. Now, if I could do some mental gymnastics here. So thank you very much for that, Pete. The first I'm going to show you is actually what's the Copilot within the Microsoft Office applications. It's called M365 Copilot, and you can license it for your users, just like any Office 365 license, if you're a Office 365 user. Once you license it, Copilot starts appearing as an option in all the Office desktop and web versions of the applications. So these are fairly new. So they're kind of, there's some things that work well and other things that are still kind of a little bit buggy. But hopefully I'm going to show you something that just gives you an idea of where this is going at a very fast pace, as Peter said. So I've got PowerPoint open. So you can interact with an existing PowerPoint, or you can start with a clean slate, and you can ask it to create a presentation. It gives you some sample prompts. So within the Copilots, your instructions or question interaction is called the prompt, as you're probably well aware. So I've got like a pre-prepared prompt here, where I'm asking it to create a presentation about sheep farming in Wales, just random, not no particular reason why I asked it that. So I've asked it to give me some examples and generate the slideshow. So it's going to go off, and this is where you'll have to bear with me because it's actually going to go and collate content and then try to produce a slideshow from that. So once it's there, we'll see what it produces. Now, every time you ask it the question with a variation of the same question, it actually doesn't copy and paste this information from somewhere. It actually generates it So it's always different. So if I ask it 3 times in 3 different sessions, this question will actually answer 3 different ways. So it's just spinning up some resources, just bear with me. This is the point in the demo, which is...
It's always nerve-wracking when you're waiting
Yeah.
for a live demo.
Yeah, exactly.
And the funny thing is,
that.
we've learned over the past few actually, this has only been available for a number of weeks, in fact, in Ireland. So we've learned over the last few weeks of playing with it that the first time you ask it something, it's always slower to answer it than the second or third or fourth or subsequent. It's spinning up resources in the background for you on the cloud to actually create the outputs.
There you go. So eventually it did produce that. So you can see it produced a slideshow just based on a simple prompt there. And I found appropriate images, and I could have been very elaborate with the prompt, and it could have essentially produced more information. But just to kind of show how it would react to, let's say, a request to modify an existing slideshow. So we've got a slide deck created, and I want to slip another slide in there. And this time I wanted to add a slide about the economic impact of farming sector in Wales. So this just shows you that you can actually use it to help you modify existing slide decks. Maybe you've got a standard generic slide deck, and you typically customize it like we do for particular customer presentations. So you can actually get it to generate. There you go. It actually slipped in a new slide deck in there with some statistics that it pulled off the internet. So this kind of shows you how PowerPoint is quickly gaining these, and they'll obviously get faster and get more accurate. But this shows you that today you generate from a blank slate in a couple of minutes there, a proper slide deck that's kind of almost presentable if you review it and just double check it. I'm going to show you a similar feature in Microsoft Word. So again, when you load any existing Word document, you can ask it to summarize the document, and literally, if it's a long document and you just want to ask questions of what's in the document, does it cover that particular topic, or what does it say on a particular topic, it'll actually interact with you that way. But you can also use it to help you start a draft document. So in the inline Copilot there, I'm going to put in my prompt, which is, I'm telling it it's a respected researcher in the field of business and digital transformation, asking it to generate a detailed report about how emergence of AI will affect SME businesses in Ireland, and commenting on the positive and negative aspects of this revolution, reference reports and statistics from reputed sources. So I'll let it go off. Now it'll do the research, and it'll pull the information from its knowledge, because these models have been trained, these large language models are trained on the compendium of all the information that is freely available on the internet. It knows a lot of information, and then the newer versions of these are actually able to go off and integrate with services like Bing search index, so they can actually pull up-to-date information. So you can see now it's working away, generating a report for us. So bear with me while that is working away. So it again, the onus is always on the user. These are called co-pilots, not pilots. So this is a draft or a starting point. You should not just send it as soon as it generates. The onus is on the user to confirm the information and look at reference sources before you accept the content. And obviously, you typically want to modify the content and you can actually use it to rewrite the content. I'm actually going to stop this. It's going to keep going for a couple of pages, so I'm just going to stop this. Now I can regenerate it if I don't like the first response. I can give it more instructions, like make it more formal, make it more relaxed, add some more statistics, and you get the idea. Basically, it's helping you as a writing assistant. Typically, you would research this information with multiple Google searches and spend hours and hours trying to compile or get a sense in your head as to what the information is, and then write it out. So this gives you a very good starting point that demonstrates it. Another example is Excel. So I just took one of the Microsoft budget templates for a small business in Excel. So it's got a kind of a budget kind of front sheet. It has details about income, personal expenses, and operating expenses. Now the Excel Copilot works on tables inside Excel. So I've selected the table region. Let me just pull out my prompts here from my prompt book. Bear with me. So it can help you do formatting, formulas, analysis. So let me just switch to the file, and I'm going to ask it to, can you change the background color of the differences where the value is negative to red? So the differences column, and I want wherever they're negative values, they're already in red there as in text, but I want the background to be red. I just want that to be highlighted. Now it's a lot more useful if you've got a large unwieldy Excel. And you can do this using formulas and filters, but you could just ask Copilot, and it just shows you how you can work a lot more easier with Excel, be more productive. So again, it's just spinning up there with it. There you go. So it's actually marked the cells that I asked for. Now that was just an example of something that they'll stick out in a demo, but you can see how this could be useful in working formulas or trying to highlight trends inside your data. I'm just going to ask it to sort that column as well. So can you sort the differences in the ascending order? So it can actually work with the data. There's an extra analysis feature that's enabled. So if I go to analyze this, and I can just prompt it, so it actually gives me some insights automatically, but I just want to ask it to give me the actual by operating expenses as a column chart. So it's generated that for me, and I can just insert then a new tab. So it's giving me the percentage of the actual expenses for each kind of category. So it shows you how you can actually very quickly do analysis on data. Just show you one more example from the operating expenses. So I'm asking it to give me each actual expense, a percentage of the total, and it gives me another. So it just gives you an idea that it accelerating the analysis of your data and also helping you work with data in Excel a lot more easier. So that's all the demos I'm going to show you on the actual Microsoft 365 Copilot. The same tool is built into your Teams and your Outlook to help you, for example, in Outlook to summarize email threads, generate responses very quickly, and the same for Teams meetings. It can summarize meetings, it can generate notes for you, actions, and help you catch up if you've been away on holiday or you've missed a couple of meetings. So it's quite powerful in terms of accelerating your productivity in everyday tools that you already use. So we looked at the actual Office stuff. Now I'm just going to switch over my other window. Yes, so we're going to look at Microsoft Dynamics. So just bring up my prompts there. We'll look at the customer service side. There.
So just while Mohammed is getting himself in the right place to show us the Dynamics 365 customer service, one of the things that he was talking about there was a prompt book. Right? I mean, this is probably as simple as an Excel spreadsheet, but it's a good tip for you. What you'll find is you'll get better at creating prompts for these things as you go along. And the same applies to all of these tools, which ChatGPT or Gemini or Copilot in Microsoft Office. You'll pick up hints and tips. Flattering it, even offering bribery can often be a benefit and a thing that you can do to improve its performance. Believe it or not, it's true. Mo described it as in Word, I think, as a world-class researcher. And there's a reason why he did that.
As massaging his ego.
Yeah, it actually does genuinely. AI performs better if you flatter it or give it a persona to operate under, which is an expert persona in the prompt. It's always a good idea because you'll forget all these little tricks and tips, etc. Create a little Excel spreadsheet or a notepad file or something and put the prompts that work well for you in it and share them with other people in your organization so they can see what's working for you too and build up a little bit of a knowledge base around it. So back to you, Mo.
So this is Microsoft Dynamics 365 customer service. So Dynamics 365 is a family of products the Microsoft provides kind of ready-to-go solutions that can be customized And this one particularly is designed for case management or customer service scenarios. In this, basically, the idea is that through phone, email, or web, various omni channels, you get customer support requests. They are created as cases, and you can then review cases. So in a large organization, there might be multiple cases. There might be shift workers or people who work staggered hours, and cases are kind of passed between people. So in this case, I'm just going to open the top case that has been assigned to me. Now, it could be that I've just come back from leave, or that I've actually inherited this case from a colleague, and so on. So what I'm going to do here is I've got lots of information in the case. I can scroll down and read everything. I can see the timeline of actions, emails, notes that my colleagues have taken. I look at details, which, and try to kind of form a picture before I can respond to this case. And typically these are under SLAs. So what I'm going to do actually is I'm going to ask Copilot here to summarize the case for me. So it's actually going to read all of this information, and it's created a quick summary for me to give me all the highlights from everything that's related in the case itself, all of these forms and all the details associated to it and all the communication. So I can quickly catch up. I can also ask questions. So you can see here, I've asked it to tell me about our average shipping times. And because I'm not sure, the customer is complaining about shipping times, so I just want to see what the actual kind of the standard is for the company. And you can see that it's gone off, and it's actually referenced the knowledge base. So within the product itself, there's a knowledge base, which is automatically provided to Copilot, so it can answer questions from within that knowledge base. So it's telling me the average shipping time for free, standard, and so on. This can be connected to other existing knowledge bases if they're web-based resources that you have in your organization, where you collating all this information, or you have like an FAQ type documentation. You can actually feed it multiple sources or upload them into the knowledge base within the product, and they're available for Copilot then to use as a response. Now, maybe I want to go back and reach out to the customer, so I'll just go and start an email for the customer. As soon as I do that, an email kind of form opens for me, and now I can actually compose the email. Now, typically in the product before Copilot, I would now have to use all that information that I understood about the product and write the email and send it. But now I've got an assistant here in the Copilot, which kind of works exactly like it probably would in Microsoft Outlook. And I can see that it's giving me various kind of tones of response. I'm going to say, actually, just provide the customer with the product and service details, because I think they misunderstand our shipping times, and if we kind of explain to them that information in the appropriate tone, it'll alleviate the issue. So the Copilot has gone off. It's looking at all the details of the case, and it's addressing the customer, saying, thank you for reaching out in regards to your kind of concerns. And it's pulled that knowledge base article in line into the email. I haven't actually told it, but essentially it's figured out what's happening, and it's understood that the customer is misunderstanding shipping times, and it's actually provided that response in line. I can just copy. I can even check the sources, and this is important. The citations, when you're working with Copilot, allows the user to double check. Copilot, it's an AI. It can go so far, but the onus is again on the person responding on behalf of the organization. Double check the response is accurate and it's used the correct sources. You can give it feedback, which can help your organization improve the content sources and make sure that the future kind of suggestions are much more accurate if you're feeling that they're not good. So you can see it's as simple as this to use Copilot in customer service. The same tool is available in the other Microsoft product family. So in this case, we're looking at Microsoft Customer Insights journeys. So this is what used to be formerly called Dynamics 365. They were called Dynamics 365 Marketing. So within that, if you got a customer and you're using the Dynamics family of products, you've got a core CRM, or you've got contacts, and you've got the companies that those contacts work for, and you want to create a marketing campaign. So what you need to do is create segments. So this is an example of a segment I've created. So the segment used to be created with a query designer previously. Now we've got a query assistant built in, a Copilot, which can help which can help us. So I say, the target audience is a contact rather than leads, and I want to create a segment. So I'll just use that prompt there, and I'll go create. Now the segment works in the background to create, so we won't be able to see it created, but you can see how the natural language is helping us to create that segment, and actually can explain that for you as well. So the query assistant is helping helping us with the segment creation, and we can actually continuously edit the prompt here, and that helps us to. Sorry, let me just move on from this one. So what it'll do is actually write the query for you in the background, and then what it'll do is it'll actually compile that segment, and look like at the end is essentially the sample I have there. So it takes some background processing to do that. Let me just load that screen here for you. So in my sample data, I've said, give me all the customers whose interest is vehicle retail. So this was kind of the old school designer, but now as I was showing you, you can actually use the natural language editor to help you create this type of complex segment. So based on all the information you have, you can segment your data for marketing campaigns. The other thing we can do is, if I switch over, is create orchestration journeys. So send an email, wait for a couple of days, send a response to an email, and so on. So we can create again, the journeys used to be like a workflow designer only. So let me get my prompt here. But now it actually works with Copilot. So I can actually give it a prompt here, say, send a promotion email. Sorry. Send a promotion email targeting loyalty members and follow up based on whether email's link is clicked. So this is a very simplistic journey, but it just shows you how Copilot helps. And this could take a couple of hours to do manually previously.
This is the kind of thing, Mo, that we actually use in TEKenable in our marketing team for inviting people to events, for example. Now, this event was run by EI, so we weren't involved in that piece, but we would invite somebody to an event, and then we'd use this to follow up if they opened the email, if they didn't open the email, if they clicked on the event link but didn't register, and all the sort of permutations we can follow through and build an automated follow-up process using AI.
Yeah. So when I ran that prompt, it said which segment you want to run it. I chose my vehicle retail segment, and then explains the journey in English text for me. It shows me the visual representation of the journey. So start the journey, as in take the emails that are in for the context in the segment vehicle retail, send them a promotional email. It can actually help you design the email content as well. And then if somebody clicks a link in the email, send them a follow-up email. Otherwise, wait 2 weeks and then send another email. You could make this very sophisticated and follow their journey from the email being sent to them all the way through to them landing on your website, and then completing a transaction or a form or signing up to a newsletter. And along the way, people falling out, let's say people who didn't click, you could create a new segment from them and then run them through a separate journey. So this is a good example of how copilots are accelerating people's kind of productivity in using the Microsoft tools, whether it's the kind of day-to-day Office 365 ones, or whether it's kind of the Dynamics family of tools.
Thank you, Mo. I might go back to the PowerPoint, please, and get ready for the next demo. CWYD. Okay. So just click through this one, please, Mo. Sorry, I forgot they were animated and you were going to have to do it. So that's it. That's the last one. So look, just in summary, while Mohammed gets his queued up ready for the next demonstration for you. You've seen a lot of this. We demonstrated it, but one thing I do want to call out that I find really, really useful on a daily, and use it almost daily. I get sent a lot of very large documents. So we're talking, 100 to 200 pages of documentation on all sorts of things. Could be legal contracts, it could be proposals, it could be sales proposals that we've written, anything, basically, white papers, etc., etc. And I really don't have the time to read them. No offense to the author, they put in a lot of effort, etc., but I don't have the time to read through them in detail. So what I do is use the Copilot to summarize that document for me. Excuse me. And That saves me an enormous amount of time, and I found it very, very accurate in terms of document summarization. It's really good. You can tell it the degree of summarization, and if you don't quite understand it, maybe it's a white paper, you can actually tell it to explain it to you like you are a 18-year-old or a 10-year-old or whatever. You can get the tune what it provides for you. In terms of the presentation generation, the only thing I would add to what Mohammed showed you there, for example, is you can upload your own company templates to it. So while that was creating a generic sort of relatively bland template, if you wanted it in a company style, you can upload your own template to the platform, and it will use that for you. And the automation extends across the board within the Microsoft platform, not just customer service, etc., even into the financial system, the Business Central system, which is kind of the equivalent to sort of Sage or Exchequer in terms of what it's intended to do. But AI is embedded in that as well to do things like automate bank reconciliation and other financial processes that take a long time, a very long time. Mo, 2 slides on, please. Thank you. So just to introduce the next demonstration, just by way of context, I suppose if you think about any typical organization of any significant size, about 30% or even less of the data and information that organization holds is in formal structured databases like the finance system, CRM system, customer service platform, that type of thing. About 70%, believe it or not, is actually locked up in documentation. That could be small documents like emails, for example, or very large documents like the ones I've been summarizing. But it's typically highly inaccessible. If somebody leaves the organization, very often the documents that they knew about get forgotten about, and that information is lost to the organization. So we asked ourselves the question, what if you could have a conversation with those documents? What if we could use AI to understand the contents of a whole suite of documents, not just a single one like Copilot does in Word, but a whole suite of documents, and ask questions of it? What would that mean? And the effective implication of that is you will improve service delivery because you'll be able to understand things quicker. You'll be able to get access to information you might not have known was even there. You can enhance interactions with your customers by giving the right information to them quickly, or even giving them access to find the information for themselves. And you can improve internal efficiency and save money. And Mo's going to show you that now.
Bear with me.
I've probably got about 5 minutes for this, Mo.
Okay. So just going to bring up. So this is our interface. This is a web-based application. We call it Chat with Your Documents. And as Pete explained, it's a knowledge kind of mining solution. So what it is this is showing an example organization, Contoso. And the application is an HR employee kind of handbook assistant. So most organizations have PDFs where they have kind of published employee handbook information. So the typical information in the handbooks that we have uploaded and indexed and kind of sprinkled with AI are information about the health plans available to the employees, how performance reviews are carried out, roles in the company and their kind of what they mean. So just to get us going, we got some example prompts here. So I'm just going to ask it the question, what is included in my Northwind Health Plus plan that is not in standard? So what's happened is it's taking that query, it's looking at an AI search index, and it comes back with the generated response after reading the top documents that include some information that helps it to respond. And that is done using Azure OpenAI, which is the kind of technology behind ChatGPT. So this is GPT 3.5 turbo model. So it's come back with a generated answer, giving me the differences in kind of the coverage between the two health plans. But what's more important is it's actually given me a citation for a chunk of a document. So the PDF might be multiple pages. We break them up into consumable kind of parts. It's read this information, didn't copy and paste the information, but it read it to understand it and generate the answer. And what it did was initially ran a search. So the search kind of came back with multiple document parts, and then it used those to actually answer the question. And what we did was we basically gave it gave it some understanding behind the scenes as to how it should behave, some guardrails. So I'm going to ask a follow-up question, which is, what about hearing? Now, this is a very open-ended question, but it just explains to you that the solution itself, it's a turn-based chat, so it understands or has a context of the previous chat turns, and it then gives you back the answer in that context. So I didn't have to explain in a very elaborative way or prompt it with all the previous information. It understands that we're having a conversation about the health plans rather than the performance reviews. So it's giving me the differences in what is included in terms of the hearing cover in the plus plan, and again, the citations. Now, I could go on and ask about different things, or I can ask it to actually just give me a detailed comparison of the two healthcare plans as an HTML table. This is when it becomes powerful. So it's going to have to read the information about the plus plan. It's going to have to read the information about the standard plan, and then it generates this table. Again, does not exist in any document. It actually generates the table from the actual content itself. This now, the other aspect of this is that it actually does not. It actually can the content could be in English, but it can actually respond in any language. So just give it a try here. We go ask it to respond in the Irish language. Hopefully, some of you would be able to tell us if that's correct or not. But it's given me that response back this time from the various documents in Irish. So it doesn't use any translation. It actually understands because it's been trained on all the languages that are on the internet. So it understands how people and literature use language, and then use that for its, because we can also ask it to respond as a pirate. Now, it may seem trivial, but this just proves that since there is no pirate translator, it's actually understands the style and generates the content as pirate speak that it's been trained on the internet.
It's not trivial, Mo. It's absolutely my favorite part of every time you demo.
I know, but it's just to prove the point that it's not using any translation services. Though there are AI translation services available, it's actually can generate content in styles of anything that it's come across on the internet, which is almost everything you know. Should I switch over to the avatar demo, Pete? Would that be appropriate time?
Yes, please, Mo.
So the extension of this idea is we were thinking, would it be possible for us to actually create a more kind of human-friendly interface to unlock the knowledge and to do a little bit more? So in this case, and bear with me, this is going to load our avatar screen. This is a little bit slow, so just have to bear with them.
Ural, hello, my name is Lisa. This is an AI avatar demo for a fictitious outdoor gear retailer. How can I help you?
What can you do for me, Lisa?
As an AI assistant, I can provide product information, assist with placing orders, check your account details, and provide information about expected delivery dates for existing orders. How can I assist you today?
So just to explain, this is just a proof of concept. It's a fictitious outdoor retailer. Lisa is completely AI generated. There is no such person. There are various variations of the avatar, different ethnicities and genders in different kind of postures. She's coming through as a AI generated stream directly from a data center in Microsoft's Azure in the US. So these services are not available currently in Europe. So that's why she might be a little bit laggy, but she's completely being generated, and her synthesizer is matching her lip movement to the phonetic kind of or acoustic dynamics of what she's trying to say. She speaks about 91 languages as well. So I'm just going to ask her to help me buy something. Lisa, do you have a 2-man tent?
Yes, we have the Elysian Voyager, a 2-person travel tent designed for comfort, durability, and portability. It features ample space for 2 adults, a dual-layer ventilated design for airflow, and a high-density ripstop nylon fabric for durability. It is lightweight, easy to assemble, and comes with user-friendly features like dual doors and vestibules for gear storage. It is also eco-friendly and comes with a 5-year warranty.
Lisa, can you place an order for the Elysian Voyager?
I apologize, but it seems that we don't have a product called Delicious Voyager in our inventory. Is there any other product you would like to order?
Yeah, so she
really should
misunderstood me. Yeah, Delicious Voyager sounds good. So let me try with a better accent here. Can I place the order for the Elysian Voyager tent, please?
Great. Your order for the Elysian Voyager tent has been placed. The expected delivery date for your order is March 25th, 2024. If you have any other questions or need further assistance, feel free to ask.
And final one, running out of time. كيف حالك, Lisa? No, she didn't understand that one.
I apologize,
Let me try again.
but it seems that we don't have a product called Halleck in our inventory. Is there any other product you would like to order?
كيف حالك, Lisa?
أنا بخير، شكرا. كيف يمكنني مساعدتك اليوم؟
Sorry, that was just to explain that this is not a scripted conversation. She's actually listening on the microphone, trying to decipher, detect the language, and then using that example to go off and look at the OpenAI service. And the OpenAI service then decides from a raft of tools we've given it, whether it needs to retrieve product information from a database and show me a product card, or place a database order. And obviously, the language detection means that you don't have to have the content or any of the tools in a particular language, because the avatar service itself understands many languages. It can switch and respond the language and the synthesized sound to whatever the user is asking. So whatever language I use. But it's the demonstrator is just there to kind of take this cutting edge preview service and just show you how or where this technology is going in terms of the OpenAI, and how you could create many interfaces using the same kind of concepts to enhance your customer experience or internal user experience for that matter.
Thank you very much, Mo. Appreciate that, the demos. Just before we return to the slide deck, there's a few other notes around Lisa, minor things. I suppose Lisa is just an avatar layer on top of the AI services that we have. And of course, Lisa is AI driven herself. She's fully video streamed. We can control our movements and general postures and things like that. But this is layered on top of chat with your documents and other data retrieval technologies that we built into the AI services. Infinitely patient. Never lose her, never lose the will to serve you with politeness and willingness. And look for that coming somewhere near you, because we're already talking to some very large multinational companies who are extremely interested in putting this in for their customer services. But right now, it's a proof of concept, a little bit fragile, as you can see, in terms of understanding some of the things, but that will improve in time. So we're pretty much at the end, I think, in terms of this webinar. If you could just skip to the last slide there, please, in terms of discussion questions. I just wanted to note that there are other slides in the deck there that you can look. I presume we'll distribute the deck later on. One thing I wanted to call out just before we go to the discussion, etc., is just around ethics. It's really, really important that an ethical approach is taken to implementing AI, and by that, there's some fairly standard headings that are well understood and agreed internationally. So AI must be fair, reliable, safe, private and secure, inclusive, transparent, and accountable. And we follow the Microsoft Responsible AI Framework. We're required, and we're actually audited against it as an AI expert with Microsoft, to complete a full ethics assessment on every AI implementation that we provide. But the exceptions to that are the co-pilots, because Microsoft has already undertaken the ethics assessment. They've already put in the safety controls. they have managed the training data, etc., and ensured that the things are fair, safe, reliable, etc., etc. They're still co-pilots. They still need your human input to make sure they're correct and accurate, but you don't need to worry about compliance with the EU AI Act, for example. If you're using the out-of-the-box services from Microsoft, they're pre-compliant. You only need to worry about that if you're building stuff yourself. So that's it. Thank you very much, Mo, for the commentary. Anna, I think it's for yourself or Jack in terms of the questions.
That's great. Thank you very much, Peter and Mohammed, for this presentation. You guys made it very clear how business can actually benefit from this simple and very practical usage of AI. So I'm going to hand over now to Jack, who is going to go through some of the questions we received here from the attendees. Jack?
Yeah, thanks for that. There's a couple of questions, or the Q&A is still available, and if anyone wants to turn on, is brave enough to turn on their mic as well. The first question we have is a loaded one now, so I'm sorry about that, but you did mention ethics. Some employees are nervous about whether this technology will take over their jobs. How do you deal with those fears?
Okay, so in reality, it's true. Some jobs will be replaced by AI, but it's not anything like as true as people fear it to be. It's just the same as any automation technology that's been delivered throughout time, that some staff will be, their roles will be automated. It's just an inevitability, I'm afraid. But the dystopian view of everybody is unemployed and everybody is, on standard incomes, etc., from the government, I don't subscribe into that. This is an assistant. This enables people with skills and knowledge of how to use the assistants to do what they do faster and perhaps better than they could without the assistant. It is not intended or designed to be a replacement. It's only the most, I suppose, easily automatable, the lowest skill type of roles that are even remotely under threat from this, and even that is probably not as big as people think it is.
And what I heard was, which is very interesting, is it's not that AI will replace your role or job. It's the people who use AI to become more productive will possibly replace you. That's another way to put it.
Yeah.
No, that's a good answer. Thank you. And we have another question in from an anonymous attendee. They just go over the size of SMEs or small enterprise to medium enterprises between up to 10 for small, up to 50 to 250 for medium. So what would be the kind of sweet spot that you might prescribe for this powerful technology?
Do you want to take that, Mo?
Sorry, in the context of the solutions we've shown, or just generally AI itself?
I'd say generally AI, to be honest, but I'm not.
I think AI is kind of helping people in all sorts of roles in all sizes of organizations. So it's independent consultants all the way through to large enterprises, because it's just a general term. It's not one tool. As we've shown you multiple tools there. Some of them are kind of co-pilots using generative AI. Others are unlocking information that's there. Others we didn't show you, where they help you generate media and so on, and the searches that Pete mentioned. So I don't think there's like a golden rule to say AI is good investment for organization of size X or Y. I think anybody from an independent consultant all the way through to large enterprises and government, it's across the board. The solutions are different, and obviously their concerns are different, and their governance and data privacy concerns, and those are different. So that's obviously a concern, but I don't think that you could say, oh, it's only for an organization of X size. And the investments are not like, even the Microsoft tools, they're licensed, for example, per user. So it's, if you have 10 users versus 200 users, you can get the same service for just the same cost per user. So.
Good answer, thank you. And we have another question. How do we keep our corporate information safe?
So the honest answer to that is don't give it to public AI services, right? The tools that we've demonstrated here today, all of them run off the Microsoft Azure OpenAI platform, all of them. So Microsoft Azure's OpenAI platform is using the same AI models, but they're running within your own private space on the Azure cloud. So your data, your information never leaves that space on the Azure cloud, and is not exposed to the risk of being leaked or confidentiality breaches, or even if it contains personal data, it's still compliant with GDPR because it remains within that cloud instance. That same cannot be true. It is not true about other AI services that you may provide your information to. So if you're using these tools, you're guaranteed data privacy and you're guaranteed sort of GDPR compliance pretty much. So you do have to configure some things yourselves, but or we can configure it for you. But that's been designed with that in mind.
Super.
And so just to add to that, it's not only the OpenAI models that are available in Azure. Microsoft is working with other model kind of providers in the open source world. So Mistral, one of the ones Pete mentioned earlier, Llama from Facebook, they're all, you can host them all in Azure using the same kind of governance and data security and privacy settings. So you can utilize multiple vendors' AI models within Azure. So that's very important.
Actually, what's key here, Jack, as well, so I forgot to mention, is that none of the information is used for training the models. So the reason ChatGPT took off was a fantastic user interface on a really powerful technology. But the reason that technology got more powerful was because the people using it were training those models with their data and their feedback, right? So this information you provide is not used by Microsoft or anybody else to provide to train the models or in any way outside of what you intended it to be used for. So that's the main mechanism for leaking information, is that it appears in a trained model and somebody else gets your information back in response to a query.
Super. This might be our last question. So since I know we're a bit short on time, is there any research available to the quality of AI generated translation versus human generated translation? That's from Patrick.
It might be. I haven't specifically looked for it. What I have done is I've asked pretty much every time we demonstrated the chat with your documents, for example, the audience for their view, and we've applied multiple languages. We had Gujarati, for example, and one of them we've viewed it with the European languages and Irish, of course. The general view, and it's not a scientific study by any means, but the general view is that it is very good. Is it better than a human-generated translation? I couldn't possibly comment on that because there are some extremely skilled translators out there, but they're a limited resource. The availability of this, and what I can say is it's not a translation. It is, the way to think of it is the AI is an expert in that language, and it's no more native to English than it is to any other language. So it is reading the documentation, for example, in English. It is speaking it in, assuming the role of a German speaker or an Irish speaker as a native speaker and relaying that understanding. It's not translating it. So it seems to be very good. Is it better than a human? No. But does it scale better than exactly human translators? Oh, yes, very much so.
So the kind of the aim of always the AI model creators is to get to human parity or better. And I think in the language processing skills, we've achieved that parity or gone slightly beyond it maybe a year or two ago. So it's, in terms of writing language or understanding language, the models are as good as humans. Now, in terms of translating something very subtle, maybe, as Pete said, we haven't noticed anything, but you could argue that the person might be in some scenarios a little bit more better on picking up on subtle clues inside text.
Super, thank you. Very interesting, actually. I like languages a lot. I'll hand back to Anna anyway, since I think we're wrapping up now.
That's great. Thank you very much, Mohammed and Peter. That was really insightful. And I would like to thank also all of you that attended this session today. And for all of you that want to know more about the supports available from Enterprise Ireland, including all the digital supports, please access our website. I'm also sharing the link here in the chat for all of you that want to know more. So that's it for now. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you all.